Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic: Waiters, what Valentine Day disasters have you witnessed? I saw a couple have a full-blown argument in the middle of the restaurant. The woman stood up, took her ring off, threw it at him and walked out. The man continued his meal, had dessert and then paid the bill, left a pretty big tip for the inconvenience and left. She does this sometimes, sorry everybody. I once ended up in a burrito place at 2 a.m. talking with a guy who was just casually managing his fiancée's drunken breakdown because she accidentally ordered peppers. The guy seemed tired. 2 failed marriage proposals on the same Valentine's Day. The first one simply said no, I can't do this, and walked out. The second one stared like a deer frozen in the headlights for an excruciating 30 seconds before muttering, let's talk about this later. They stayed for the rest of their 6-course V-Day special dinner, eating and making painful small talk. I always wonder about couples like this. How could the guy be so off the mark as to not know if his GF will say yes? Do they not communicate? Is she pretending to like him more than she does? These are questions I need answers to. Hey man, don't judge, lots of people make mistakes on first dates. Poor impulse control and not thinking through all the possible outcomes. I know pop culture views it as romantic, but I kinda think proposing in a public place is sort of a dick move to begin with. You're basically forcing the person you're proposing to look like a jerk in front of strangers if she or he says number. If you aren't 100% certain the person will say yes, then your relationship is nowhere near a point where getting engaged is an option. And definitely not ready for a proposal in a public setting. It wasn't disastrous for the couple as much as it was the restaurant. I used to work at a small southeastern franchise restaurant. It wasn't anything you could mistake for upscale. We had someone call in and ask if we could fry the ring he was planning to propose with in a hush puppy. Extremely weird request, but we said sure. They come in to eat with their families, she gets her order of hush puppies, doesn't choke on the ring and seems excited enough. Stayed at the table for about 2 hours total and chatted. They dined and dashed. Edit, had no idea there would be a ton of confusion over what a hush puppy was. In America, or at least the South, a hush puppy is a fried ball of cornmeal. I promise it tastes better than what it sounds like. Also, for all those asking, it was a place called the Shrimp Basket. It's a pretty small franchise. Sorry to break the hearts of all those that were guessing Waffle House or Captain D's. /yes ISISO. They dined and dashed. I have a great idea, he said. And grinned with glee and stared ahead. To where, in front, his bride-to-be. Was all he had the eyes to see. I'd like to start the future we. The future you. The future me. By blowing off the bill, the bar. To show the world how shit we are. For after all, he said with cheer. We are a pair of assholes, dear. It's time we left. It's time we flew. Do you agree? She said. I do. Wow. The nerve of some people. Since he called in, would Op have been able to use the phone number to call back and demand money? I am a bartender but happened to be the one on the date for this particular disaster. So anyone in the service industry knows, you generally just do not make plans on certain holidays because you will have to work, no matter what. I had not had a date on Valentine's in probably 7 years, so when my boss gave me the day off I was surprised and posted something dumb on Insta about it. I got a DM from a girl I knew but not very well, asking me out for Valentine's and she was way cute, so I figured why the fuck not. Things went so wrong, so quickly. We get to the restaurant, grab a drink in the bar while we wait on our table, took a shot to get the social lubricant flowing since we don't really know each other very well. I pay our bar tab, and we move to the table. To set the scene a bit, this place is a really nice steakhouse and they have these dark red, diamond pattern booths that are fluffy, with buttons at each point of the pattern. Hard to explain but it looked something like this. https://cetralseatig.com. The moment we sit down, my date lets out a blood-curdling scream like she had just been stabbed. She grabs her arm and her hand comes away covered in blood, and she looks so confused and I have no idea what the fuck just happened. I look around thinking someone just stabbed her, but everyone around us is seated just staring over at us. I move over to her side of the booth and grab the napkins off the table to find where she is cut. The entire back of her upper arm is sliced from elbow to shoulder. One of the buttons had broken off of the wall and the snapped metal fastener was exposed, so when she sat down her arm ran all the way down along it. She is panicking. I am trying to stop the bleeding, while the people around us figure out what is going on and call 911 for us. The manager comes over and is immediately a defensive asshole until he sees that it was his boot that did the damage. The paramedics show up, I get the owner's info from the manager, and we spend the night in the ER where she needed something like 80 stitches. We both are exhausted at this point, when a guy walks in with flowers, champagne and a bag of takeout food from the restaurant we had left. It was the owner of the restaurant coming to make sure we could have the Valentine's meal we had missed out on. Sure, it was probably because he was afraid to get sued, but it was still really welcomed after how shitty the night had become, so quickly. She and I ended up dating for almost 3 years and became good friends with the owner. Such good friends she ended up banging him, and that was the last I heard from either of them. Woo, Valentines. I have stuck to working those nights ever since. The end. Edit. I would like to sincerely thank the people going through my comment history and messaging me things like, maybe if you didn't play so many video games like a manchild then you wouldn't get cucked. You guys are making my fucking night and it is hilarious. How dare people enjoy things. Also thanks you /PMJM for throwing the chair pic on Imgur since we killed the site. Link, https://imgur.com/fn0kxim.gif. This story is an emotional roller coaster. Love it. This story gave me whiplash. Truly a literary masterpiece. I walked up to a table and was about to drop off the bill, caught the end of it's over. Guy looked at me dead in the eye and said to split that fucky check, right now. That is actually hilarious, and good on him for not paying for someone who dumped him. And good on him for not paying for someone who dumped him. Now I'm reminded of my ex. We were together for over 6 years, living together, and we had begun to plan a wedding. Her car died, so I bought her one of her choice. I gave her a $20,000 limit to use however she wanted. New, used, whatever. She wanted something small and easy to drive with good storage space, so she chose a brand new Scion XD. $16,500. We drove 4 hours to the next state to get one in the color that she wanted. A few months later she's leaving me for the guy who she had been cheating on me with. And this guy was married and cheating on his wife to be with her, too. Well, here's this brand new car. It was in my name. I was making the payments. And she's leaving me to go be with this mutual cheater. I told her that she had 2 options regarding this car. She could either get a loan to purchase this car off of me, or I'm taking the car back. I'm not going to pay $18,000 after interest for a car for you now. She wasn't happy about this. She was also using my old cell phone at the time since she broke hers. I told her that I wanted my phone back, too. After I got it back I looked at what she left on it. She deleted the contact of her new cheater fuckboy, but the text messages remained. I knew his number, so it was easy to see who she was talking to. She was saying to him that I was driving her crazy about this car and that I wouldn't just leave her alone about it. She was angry that I wasn't going to just keep paying for it. You think that you can leave me for the guy that you were cheating on me with, and that I'm still going to pay for this brand new car, of your choice, for you? Are you fucking kidding me? Edit. Here's how the car situation ended. Not really a disaster, but this guy came in and said he was waiting for his date. He stayed for 5 hours waiting and she never showed. He eventually ordered for himself and asked that I remove the other glass of water from the table. He said it was their first date. At that point, doesn't that make him the waiter? Dad. Yay, I've been there. Like last week. Feels bad. Feels bad, ma. Damn, why would you wait for 5 hours? I'm out of there after 30 minutes. Same. Half an hour, no show. Not wasting any more time. Not a total disaster, but still not good. Had a table of 2 people, probably in their mid-40s last year. Took 45 minutes for this couple to get their eateries due to our kitchen being way too slammed. When they were dropped at the table, they immediately asked for to-go boxes because they told their babysitter they'd be home by a certain time. I overheard the wife say, well, I guess this is why we don't celebrate Valentine's Day. The worst part was that they weren't angry, just very sad. My personal feelings about dining out on Valentine's Day aside, I felt so horrible that this couple clearly had put in an effort to have a nice night with each other only to have it go that way. We comped their meals, BTW. As a mom of 3 who rarely gets to go on dates with my husband, this just made me so very sad. I feel their disappointment in my soul. Nice that at least they got their meal comped. Kudos to you and your manager. That's sad. I bet they planned for a while to get the time and probably haven't had a date in a while.